Ave Legionari, and welcome to the next episode of Factorio. Uh, I don't really recall exactly what I was doing before, just because, as I said at the end of the episode, I was very tired at the time, so we're gonna go ahead and pick up and just kind of look around and see what exactly I was trying to do here. So I had some copper coming down this way, very little in the way of iron. Okay. Oh, I don't have advanced info. There we go. Okay. If you don't have the little pictures on the factories or any of the furnaces, then you don't have the advanced info layer on. So there's a lot of hmm, I guess you'd call it details. I don't know what else you'd call it. There's a lot of detail you're missing if you're not looking at the advanced layer, especially when it comes to pollution, because there may be alien bases sitting around that we could be poking at. Optics is done. Let's look at something else here. Military, why not? So I'm just gonna go explore the perimeter just so I don't tip off any random aliens as to our whereabouts and doings. Because as you know, the aliens are the greatest menace to our industrializing force. Um, Now I don't really know the actual lore behind the aliens. If anyone does, you can go ahead and drop it in the comments because I'd actually like to know if there's any lore in mind for the game or if they're just kind of going with the aliens attack because aliens thing. Like, if there's actually some kind of, what do you call it? I don't want to say logical reason because there's no evidence that the aliens actually have the capability of logical thought, but if there's any kind of actual, reasoning or instinctual response for their attacking of particular installations that you put up, then I would actually be really interested in seeing that, because it's kind of been I don't want to say long-running idea of mine, but it's been a recent thought of mine for a career choice to be in game writing or like game story writing or some sort of writing involved in the game industry just because I'm actually in school for computer science, but the more computer science I've been doing, the more I've been looking at what I've been doing and saying, I don't like doing this. This is very boring and I find it tedious and not fun. So I'm trying to find something close to what I was initially launching myself into school for that I could potentially do, and looking around at what I like to do or what I do in my free time, which is usually creating things like this, or when I create short stories. People usually like them almost universally. I haven't had anyone say this is terrible. But then again, if someone didn't like it, they wouldn't tell me to my face that it's terrible, so I don't know if that's just confirmation bias in the form of friends or if that's an actual amount of quality that I produce. So that is the unknown. But I'd like to think it's some kind of quality, or at least my ego would like to think it's quality. So I'm going to go ahead and charge forward under the assumption that it is indeed quality. Okay, military's done. Steel processing. When we get steel processing done, we can go ahead and start I know there's some grand step we can make with steel from here. Uh, nothing nothing that I can see that's jumping out at me in the crafting, so it must be something that actually comes literally with the upgrade for steel. Okay, yeah, it's solar. That's it. Okay, so we can start jumping into some other stuff like solar, but not immediately. Hmm. This is not optimal, and I bet I've probably said that because that definitely seems like something I would talk about. This being not optimal. Um. Okay. Perfect. That's just great. Okay. Um. So if there's any actual interest for a stream, I know that one of my friends who actually watches this channel, the series, expressed an interest in having me go forward with the stream concept. if that is actually something that people would want to see, I could potentially think about getting some kind of like weekly stream thing, like some kind of really pale imitation of the Northern Lion Super Show or something. But it would just be little me and maybe him actually if he's into it, because he was also a YouTuber for a while, but he hasn't really done much lately. Uh, I know he does stream occasionally, so I don't know what's really going on with that, because I haven't really spoken to him about that particular topic in a while. Okay, what else? Armor crafting. Okay. Uh, the what am I trying to say here? 'Cause there's something I'm trying to say, and I'm not able to get the words out. Usually I'm articulate. I don't know. Something about recording episodes, like attempting to consistently entertain a group of people that are very easily bored and will click off of your video very, very rapidly if they don't like what they're hearing, makes it difficult for me to actually maintain a singular train of thought. I don't know. Go figure, right? Uh, let's see. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep going with this style here. This little like what 1, 2, 3 row of boilers. Okay, armor crafting. Everything else is starting to require some green. I really don't want to set up green yet. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get into shotgun territory. That's shotgun clearing with forests is something that I absolutely love doing, just because it's not efficient. I believe I already talked about this, but it's not really that efficient in terms of ammo usage, but it is amazingly efficient in terms of time. The time savings that you get from just clear cutting a forest with a shotgun as opposed to chopping it is remarkable. So that's something that I usually like to do, just to go ahead and save myself some time. Okay. And I'm probably going to keep rehashing concepts because the longer that the series goes on, the more likely it is that I'm going to forget that I spoke about something. So be prepared for me just rehashing concepts that I thought I hadn't spoken about, but I had indeed spoken about like a week before. Especially with all these constant interruptions and junctures between when I actually get a chance to record and when I actually publish these things. So what what inevitably occurs is my my family will do something that will interrupt my recording schedule, like like there will be some kind of wedding thing like that, or there's going to be some kind of like excessively long movie marathon that my parents force me to watch, and that's no joke. My parents are obsessed with movies. But anyway, there's always something that'll actually try and like interrupt the recording schedule. So that's why there's intermittent updates lately, and I've been trying really hard to get regular updates out for like I presume under 5 people so far that have actually watched most of the content, of which I am extremely grateful. You guys are the real heroes. Let's see here. And I know I'm gonna cringe at that line later. I'm gonna be in the shower and I'm just gonna be looking at the wall and just saying, "Why did I say that?" You're gonna like smile once and you won't think much of it. I'm gonna be cringing about that for the rest of my life. And honestly, if I cringe forever, but you guys like it, then the job well done. I really don't need I don't need to save myself from what I would inevitably do anyway. I say dumb shit all the time, and I always fear for my long-term recollections of it, because invariably there's something that I do that I'll just like um I don't want to say scream about, but I'll always like remember and then internally scream, because I don't usually like verbally scream. I will just do like internal like bellowing of like So it's some kind of high octave of just panicked yelping, I guess you could say. It usually comes when I realize I've done something or said something incredibly stupid, and there's no possible like verbal or physical recourse, so I just kind of turn internal. So that often happens. More often than I'd like to admit, really. And I mean, some people that I've talked to, uh, how to put it? I know I'm not making a good case for myself here because I sound incredibly inarticulate, but trust me, when I'm not being recorded, it actually comes out a lot better. Or at least when I get more comfortable with recording, it's going to turn out a lot better. But um, how do I put it? A lot of people try and talk to me just because I don't want to sound stuck up, but it's like people actually value my input, which actually like tickles me greatly that people try and like come to talk to me about things. Not all the time am I actually, like a good person to talk to about these things, but it's kind of cute that some people try and actually like speak to me about them. Uh, if only because I find it fun. It's like being able to help someone because they acknowledge that they're out of their league in X issue and they would like my help. But not all the time am I actually capable of doing that. Um, it's a toss up. Like it's kind of like a magic 8 ball where half the answers are incredibly unhelpful, and the other half the answers are so insightful that you'd wonder why you didn't think of them yourself. And that's sort of what my advice is usually like. Um, because I don't usually offer the advice unless it's something that people actually actively solicit because I don't want to be accused of like trying to insinuate myself in other people's lives. So, is it? How do I put it? Um, is it something I like doing? Yeah, but is it something that I'm gonna actually actively do if people don't want me to? No. I suppose that's all there really is to say on that topic. Uh, hmm. Now where the hell do I go with this base? So I've got these two builds here going around. Increased iron throughput a little. I say throughput like I'm actually using the term correctly. It's more like I've increased iron supply, which automatically increases throughput. But okay. So I need to actually get around to automating some of this other stuff, like copper plates and gear wheels, beyond what I have done here, because I have the most rudimentary stuff here. Like this will not scale at all. This will scale terribly. So, hmm, need to think about that. Where the hell am I gonna put the rest? Where the hell am I gonna put the rest of the base is the question of the day. Okay. I'll just keep picking up iron, I guess. Helps me. It doesn't really help me think, it just helps me build. Building helps me think, because I don't actually think out the layout of the base in advance. It just kind of, as I said earlier, I believe, it organically comes out of whatever I'm thinking. So, the more, the more logically and less, off the cuff I'm thinking, like my actual thought pattern is, the more logical and straightforward the base will look like. But if it's going to look like incredibly haphazard and strange and weird, then that means that I'm not thinking logically and I'm just kind of putting down things as I feel. So it's actually an interesting litmus test for how I'm feeling. Like if the base begins to look more like strange and erratic, that's the more the more difficult I am in trying to I don't, what would I say? Like, the more difficult it is for me to actually like express logic. It's a strange concept. Um, but I mean, honestly, if there's anything that I'm ever gonna do, it's have strange concepts. Um, what's a good example of that? Hmm. I don't actually know if it's really like a concept that I really fully believe in, but it's an interesting parallel concept nonetheless. Is an internal council. Like if you've seen that movie Inside Out, it's a Pixar movie that came out still in theaters, I think. I'm not sure for how much longer, but like your mind is being controlled and is actually like essentially a facsimile of five individual little creatures of emotion, and everything is made up of puppets, and basically you're just a puppet. But I came up with a thought experiment that I just kind of that it seemed like a fun idea at the time, so I kind of rolled with it. That my mind was actually something like a senatorial arena, like Roman era style thing, where it's like this like amphitheater thing with a speaker in the center, and everyone's just like arguing and bickering and trying to solve what's going on outside. And occasionally they can take turns like actually talking into the thing and hearing what comes out and seeing a little like tiny screen. So I just like I came up with the concept before the movie actually came out, but I expanded it wildly because it wasn't just like five dudes in this like sterilized command center of emotions. It was more like a absurdly large number of senators that all had competing motives, and they all just kind of like screamed at each other when anyone did anything. So I mean, it's not like obviously I'm not just like batshit insane, so it's not really like explicitly true. But the concept of competing voices in my head is kind of like the different whispers of what would you call it? Different whispers of like ambition, I guess would be an interesting word to use there. The competing phrases of God damn it, I fucked this up. The competing phrase of what is the word I'm trying to go for here? Like, you know, I used to be called a living dictionary. Like, that's no joke. People used to call me that. But in this playthrough, I'm just constantly wondering what the hell I'm trying to say. Um, phrase of what? What are you trying to say, you crazy man? Hmm. You know, I'm sure it will come to me, and I'll get back to you on that, but as of this current moment, I got no clue what I was trying to say. So, if you actually remind me, I will try and remember what the fuck I was trying to talk about, but that thought is gone. It is a untethered kite flying in the wind. That train of thought has sailed away. And it got hit by a very large storm, and now there's a fire on deck, and everything's going down, and there's a touching song, and the band is playing, and no one knows what the fuck's happening, and blah 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 blah. Okay, this throughput system is definitely not going to work. I don't have anywhere near enough furnaces in the center of this. So I may just tear this up and go ahead and start a new, or I may create a fake, well, not really a fake, a temporary like juncture to bypass around all this stuff, just so I can at least keep some operations running while I'm making a new one. Hmm. That iron is not going to last long, so I might as well just go ahead and I could actually cut this like this. Just go ahead and split it like that. Just there we go. So that's some coal going that way. Definitely gonna cut down the coal supply over there. But honestly, I'm probably gonna have this loop around and join up with this when the main base moves here, or over here-ish. I say ish because I have no idea what the fuck I'm actually doing. Uh, So you know, if this is organic base design, but what this will definitely mean is that this base is actually a tumor, and that the real being will be built over here. switch. There we go. Go ahead and clear some trees. I mean, this is the part of the game that I live for, really. It's just like glorified, like lumberjack. I mean, honestly, who doesn't just want to keep cutting down trees with a shotgun? I mean, is there really a more badass phrase? Like, if you actually think about it, cutting down trees with a shotgun? Like, sure, I mean, it sounds ludicrous, but, like, yeah, chainsaws are meant to do that. Like, doing a flamethrower ruins the wood. I mean, this does too, but that's just because of game mechanics. Like, technically, you'd have a lot of wood left over used a shotgun. But, I mean, that is just an absurd thing to do, is cut down a tree with a shotgun. That is just nuts. But then again, that's applying actual, like, sensibilities to game mechanics and environments, so. In the Factorio universe, it's entirely seemly to cut down a tree with a shotgun, while in our universe it is utterly absurd to consider. Or at least improbable. I'm sure it's been done at least once. I mean, someone's had to do it at least once. I mean, you can't tell me that this, like, has never happened, because otherwise the concept would be so foreign that we wouldn't even, like, allow it in a video game, because we would just never have thought of it. Most things that people think of being able to do if they involve actual components that we can use on a day-to-day basis have probably been done. Like most things have probably been done. And I say that with the most, with the most forward-thinking viewpoint. Don't really know what I mean by that, and I don't know if I would be able to tell you if you asked. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay, so we're gonna get coal over that way. I doubled up copper there, doubled up the iron there. Quite a bit of overflow. I could put down a second lab there, but I don't really need to, because I'm gonna be moving shit. So I'll just build a bunch of belts. And keep the coal going. Manual production is slow as balls. That is a long way. Okay. Alright, so that's barely any progress, but hey, I mean, what were you looking for in a 23-minute video besides me running in circles, cutting down trees, and rambling? And that's going to be it for this one. I've been a Clever Marketing Ploy. Thank you for watching. If you can actually tell me what you like the most in these videos, it would help out a great deal. Liking, commenting, subscribing, yada yada. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.